moving forward here into the real final home stretch, the confidence level's got to be high, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Well earned too. I mean, it's just been a grind to get here. As you guys, everybody on this call knows, the journey has been interesting, and so a lot of hard work, relentless positivity, honestly, to be playing our best basketball right now, and, to put together a week like we did last week was really special. I mean, it's just been a blast with the awards, Greta Kampschroeder getting, the McDonald's All-American nod yesterday was so exciting, for our future and for her. And, so just just an awesome several days, but, just the journey to it, I just well-deserved on all accounts. And so really proud of everyone. And, they came in yesterday and we got after it again, and they're hungry. They just want to keep getting better. So we're in a good place.
Hey, Scott, what do you think the odds are on Aleah and Greta getting 60-footers almost at the exact same time? That's weird, man.
I want somebody to do a study on it. I mean, to me, if you had the sports science, whatever that show was, for them to break that down and to tell us the odds would be really cool, because zero. What are the chances? Two people that are associated with each other, that on the same day, just a couple hours or a few hours apart honestly, that's what I want to know, the exact spot on the floor, because a high school court to a college court, if you just look at the differences, is probably the exact same spot. So anyway, really special, but very, very strange. And I don't know what the odds are, but it can't be much.
Hey, speaking of Greta, what does it mean to a player to be a McDonald's All-American?
That's the pinnacle. I mean, that's the pinnacle of the amateur or the high school experience. In my opinion, I don't mean amateur, of course, but I mean high school experience is everybody would say that, it sure be nice if I get it, but if you're an elite player, that's what you want. You want to be on that list. And that being said, we know that Aleah most likely would have been on that team had she not shown up early. And so that's one of the things she knowingly gave up. I think we all were hopeful that, in this year of craziness, that they would have shifted maybe their standards in that way. But rules are rules, but that, so Aleah is one thing. But for Greta, I mean, I think what it does is it just is a validation in a way, of your accomplishments, but it is what it is. It's an individual award, and these are all team sport athletes, but it's nice on the resume. I know that for her and for us.
Scott, this game on good. This game on Sunday, it seems like the perfect situation to show how far this team has come in 2.5 months, doesn't it?
Coming up Sunday.
Yeah.
It's another opportunity. I mean, this past weekend was, such a vital opportunity for us, to get ourselves back in the conversation, for postseason. And then this is the next one. And then we'll have the next one at the Pac-12 tournament to continue to build our resume. But, it's another great opportunity against another great team, to go out and get better. And so, to add another road win certainly, would put another feather in our cap and be more great momentum moving forward. And so that's our hope for sure, but another game against another really good team that gives us another opportunity. Like we talked about last week before we headed to LA, we got just a great opportunity ahead of us, and here comes another one.
Well, I meant more like this is a situation where you played Oregon 2.5 months ago, and it just seems like a perfect situation to show how far you've come, because you have that game and then you have this one.
Looking back and comparing who we were in December to who we are now. Yeah, right. For sure. And, the venue's different for sure, obviously, but yeah, I think we're probably both completely different teams than we were, back then. I mean, we were just talking about if on a normal year, the normal amount of games we've played, for us, it would be about January 10th right now. We would have just played our first weekend in Pac-12. and here we go. And but obviously it's not, it's almost March. And so because of that, there's this massive urgency to grow quickly, and so yes, we do have that opportunity, but I think we've already proven that, no matter what happens Sunday, that, this team's completely different than we were back then. Certainly we'd like those December games to happen again. Right now, we feel like they could probably go a different direction, the ones that we lost anyway. And so at least we would be a different team in them. So yeah, so we do have that opportunity, but I also kind of feel like we've kind of shown already that we're much different than we were in December. And, if nothing else, just the addition of Aleah has made a significant change, for us.
Hey, Scott, I know it's normal to have breaks in between times you play teams, but for the last, 7 years or so, you've had that back-to-back with Oregon. I know this is a weird, different year, but just how different is that? You guys get like almost a whole week to prepare for them the second time around. And I know, everybody has grown a lot since that time, but just how unique and different is that to face Oregon under these circumstances, in this situation with so much time to prepare for a second meeting?
Yeah, well, I have been here long enough to remember when it was just, one game per week and kind of like the men do it. And, obviously that's what I think what everybody would prefer. I really liked that because, the build, just from our fan base, the hype that would go into the rivalry game was always so fun, and get to do that twice in a year, that was fun. It was also nice just to catch your breath in the middle of the Pac-12 season and just have a 1-game week. I thought that was good itself. The interesting thing is when you play the same team on the same weekend, the prep still is only for one team, just like it is now. So the prep isn't really that different. It's a couple days longer this week. We just don't have that weird, quick turnaround where it's a chess match. Like, how are we going to adjust, in really 12 hours between the end of that game and practice, the next day, which, for coaches, that was weird, but also, kind of fun, to try to scheme and make adjustments that you thought could be more effective in the next game and kind of try to guess what they're going to do differently. And, that whole thing as a competitor was interestingly fun. But I think if we had the choice, we'd do it this way right here, where we could spread them out a little bit. And I don't know. I liked the catch our breath thing too. So I thought that was healthy for everyone.
Scott, this rivalry has been defined over the last couple of years, not just by the play on the court, but by how packed out Gill and Matthew Knight Arena are year over year, as part of the allure of what this game is nationally. How different is it when you go from, Gill being packed or the hostile 10,000 in Matthew Knight Arena to 0? I mean, how much does that alter the game and game flow? And are you used to that at this point?
I think we're getting used to it now. I think it was really hard for all of us to get used to at the beginning. I think it was almost depressing, to come out and not have those things that, are such a big part of what we do. And, here a big part of our reason, because we play for our fans, and not having that for coaches, for players. I think it was something that we had to get used to probably as much and deal with personally. And we had to deal with it. It was like you're mourning a loss almost. And I think that took us, we probably didn't admit how much of an impact it made. But to me, it's fairly significant, and it's not the way you'd want, for sure. The fun of this is going into, like you mentioned, a hostile arena, or, I think back to Arizona, before they got it going, there were so few fans there, but their band would play right next to our bench and blow their horns as loud as they could our entire time out. So you could they couldn't hear me, and, there's just all these little things on the road, or Arizona State, their students, they wouldn't have a ton of them, but they'd be there on the end and they'd be screaming stuff at us the whole game. And, those things that go into a road game. I mean, that's a big part of what we do. So unfortunately and sadly, I think we are getting used to it. But certainly it's not nearly as fun at all. And so I think we're all just learning how to deal with it.
Hey, Scott, yesterday was the anniversary of your first time coaching at Matthew S. Knight Arena back February 23rd, 2011. Think back to that day and then how far really both programs have come and how women's basketball has grown so much in the state of Oregon.
Yeah, that was a very, my first game against Oregon was opened Matt Knight, and it was sold out because of the novelty of the game at the time, certainly not because of the talent on the rosters or the success of the programs at the time. You know, they were a middle of the road team and we were at the bottom of the bottom, at the time. And walking out, I'll never forget walking out into that game. I was coming from a Division III into that environment was, I'll never forget it. And just sitting on the bench going, okay, it's just another game. You've done this a bunch. Just coach, man. It was our only TV game of the year too, that year, I believe, at the time. And so when you think of what our two programs have done, what the conference has done, what the Pac-12 has done, and the growth, all I can say, it's been an honor to be a part of it. And it's hard to put into words what it's all been. But I think, we live in an area where, women's sports are valued. And when you build it, they will come. And I was confident of that at Oregon State. And certainly, Oregon had its run in the early 2000s, where they drew really well. They had the most attended Pac-12 tournament ever in Eugene, back in the day. And so of course, they're going to come support them there. And of course, they're going to come support us here. And so what everybody's gotten to see the last couple of years, did anybody ever think that these two programs would be here? Probably not. And so what's more fun than doing something that nobody thinks you can? Nothing's more enjoyable than that. And so I'm just proud of both our programs. I'm proud of this region for supporting us as well as we have been. Like I said, it's an honor to be a part of, and I'm proud of our conference, for elevating, this game the way that we have collectively on a national scale. And so it's just been a joy, anything's possible, Ron.
Exactly.
Hey, Coach, this is Annie Peterson from AP.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, I hope you're well. I wanted to ask you, you guys have been through arguably more upheaval than any other program in the Pac-12, maybe even in the nation. Do you think that has brought your team closer together?
Well, I think it could have taken us either direction. And because it's hard to get the news that you're shut down, and it's hard to be isolated, and it's hard. And so it's hard to get tested every day, like every team's doing. Just adding that to your schedule is, annoying, if nothing else. At the same time, you're grateful that you get to continue to do something that's somewhat normal. And this team, to their credit, has been relentlessly positive. And I would say that, that is mostly loaded onto Aleah Goodman's shoulders as our most vocal leader on this team. And, you tend to go the way your leaders go. And she, Taya Corsdale, and this team have chosen to control what they can control and to remain positive through it all, to the point where, I can't say every single day, but pretty much every day has been fun. Every day has been enjoyable to be with this group. And so for us, it has galvanized us. For us, it was outside adversity that made us tighter, and there were no fractures and have been no fractures within our group. We've chosen to stay together through it, and that's a hallmark of our program. It's what we expect. It's what we talk about when we say we are family. It's families get tighter through adversity, and they problem solve well. It's what we've always done. And to this team's credit, they've done an incredible job of it. And that's why we are in the position we're in right now during a year where, like you said, it's really hard to look at, Massey ratings has us 22 right now. And I'm looking, I just glance at that because it gives you so much information so quickly. And we're 8-6, and all the teams around us are 18-5, 13-6. They've played so many more games. So thankful that we're in the position we are with the opportunity we have, considering it all.
Hey, has there been anything in particular looking at this team that has surprised you, from when you started this kind of journey, this strange journey at the beginning of the season until now? What is the thing that has been most unexpected about this team?
Well, Talia von Olafen's addition and her immediate impact. No one could have predicted, what she's done and how quickly she's done it. That gave us that second ball handler to go along with Aleah Goodman. That's allowed us to handle pressure, to continue to adapt and be a threat every possession. It's allowed us to rest Aleah more than we were able to before. And it's allowed us to put other players in their more natural positions. And so I think that has been, just wind in our sails, over the last month. I would have said I expected us to play like we are now earlier. But I can't say I'm surprised just because of the way the schedule, we weren't able to develop like we needed to. We didn't have the opportunities, so what people saw this past weekend, is kind of how I expected us to be, because that's who we are. And so I was confident that we'd reach the level that we're at, and I'm confident we'll continue to improve as well.
A lot of people use the phrase, I don't mean to take over the conversation, I'm sorry, but a lot of people use the phrase, peaking at the right time. Would you say that your team is peaking at the right time, or does that remain to be seen?
Well, I think we still have room for growth, no question, but I do believe that we're playing our best basketball right now. This team, this past weekend, our program's known for defense. The last couple of years, we probably haven't been as strong as we were, 3, 4, 5 years ago, but it still was, basically our calling card was it's going to be tough to score on us. And this team, it played the best defense of the season by far this past weekend. It's just like that end of the floor just came together. We've been playing pretty well offensively for a month now. I mean, just look at the numbers. I mean, we've shot the ball as well as any Oregon State team's ever shot the ball, over the last month plus. And so we've needed that, the other end of the floor to come along, so to go into UCLA and address all the things that hurt us early. We gave up so many offensive rebounds earlier in the year. This weekend, we out-rebounded the best offensive rebounding team in the conference in UCLA. Out-rebounded them by 6 the other day, out-rebounded USC by a bunch. And then we took care of the basketball, and that's been, an issue for this team throughout the year. We only had 10 at UCLA, and you can think back, over these last several years where we've had some teams that won the Pac-12 that really struggled or got beat at UCLA. And so this team is really proving what they are, a very talented team that now is really locked in on both ends of the floor. And that's what we've been waiting for.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We talked to Ellie last week, Scott, and she just mentioned, this was kind of put up or shut up time, and that she said, I'm built for it. I think this team is built for it. And when she gets out on the floor, it's like a Draymond stat line where it's like, 8 and 7, but it's the most consequential 8 and 7 in relation to the flow of the game. I mean, what does she bring? What has she brought, especially down the stretch here, just, in some of those key moments?
Yeah, thanks for asking that, Andrew. Man, she had the best week of her career here at Oregon State this weekend, of course. She was so aggressive. And, we've talked about her briefly previously, how she's very respectful. I mean, she's coming in as a fifth year, understanding she's one of the new people, even though she has all this experience. And she's kind of deferred and kind of tried to find her way within our system and within our program. And, I mean, we brought her here to be, the player of the year from the Patriot League, like she's been, and to be that aggressive. And so as she's found her way, I've hoped that she's just as aggressive as she possibly can be. Well, we've certainly seen that from the 3-point line. She's been aggressive shooting that. This weekend, what she did on the boards was unbelievable. Her effort was incredible. It was kind of like, okay, I'm owning this now. I'm not the new kid anymore, or one of them. This is my team, and we are Oregon State, and this is what we are going to do. And where she just imposed her will. And, And so whether it was a drive into the rim against USC, getting to the free throw line like she did 6 times in that game, or, you know, making huge plays defensively and offensively against UCLA. I mean, she just makes us so much better, you know, when she's playing at that level and with that mindset. And so I felt like we saw the real Ellie Mack this weekend, which is just a great thing as we go forward.
Scott, speaking of other players on the roster who've made an impact, you know, Sasha has been the freshman player of the week a couple of times. I mean, she seems so versatile. I tried to say, well, she naturally a 2, and she could be a 1, she could be a 3. I mean, what about Sasha and her versatility?
Yeah, or can she hold Charisma Osborne for 21? You know, with her defense. I mean, that's the thing. She's a perimeter player, you know, that is versatile. I mean, I haven't asked her to, but we could easily, just because of her length and quickness and you know, strength. She's not the strongest person, but she has a core strength that is formidable. I mean, we could slide her to the 4 even. And of course, you've seen her have to play the 1, which is out of position, but bringing the ball up the floor is something that she can do and has done for us this year. So she's as versatile as they come. You know, I think being able to relax at the speed of our game and defend a great player within their offense accurately, that's a hard thing for anyone to do in their first year. It's typically why you don't see a lot of freshmen have a lot of success, especially on the defensive end of the floor. And we're asking her to be our disruptor. We're asking her to do the things that, you know, you guys all saw Gabby Hansen do so successfully all those years. And when we recruited Sasha, I knew that this is a person that's capable of being impactful on the defensive end like that. And this weekend we saw that. And I know she loves defense, but it's hard to love something that you don't feel like you get yet. And so it's been like this tension thing with her this year. The defensive end has just been, I love it, but man, I'm giving up shots. And now you see, okay, I'm owning this. I'm able to close out and take a 3 away and stay in front of the guard, you know, that puts the ball on the floor and attacks my closeout. And so you're just seeing the game slow down, relax, and her impact growing. And so it's really fun to watch.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
Well, before we go, if Aleah comes back, do we get the Aleah Greta 60-foot 3-pointer set?
You know it. Heck yes. And then we'll add 2 feet every week.
I'm like nice full court offense here, huh?
I mean, the way Aleah makes it look so easy, why not? I mean, I got to tell you guys, that was the weirdest over like 3/4 court shot or whatever it was that I've ever been a part of, because there's no fans there, but it's almost like we all knew it went in. It was just like, of course that went in. You know, I mean, she's done it so many times now that you can't even be surprised. And we caught eyes right afterwards, and she just looks at me like, you know, just like, I kind of can't believe it went in, but we're both kind of like, I kind of can believe it went in. And so just a remarkable skill that she has, and a knack for the dramatic. And so incredible. But yes, you can count on that.
Well, Aleah, how different is this to go so long between games with Oregon when usually you've got like less than 48 hours?
Yeah, no, it's really weird. I remember Scott kind of talking to Taya and I before the schedule was made and saying this is how it's probably going to be and going to end up. And I was like, I didn't really know how to feel about it. I was like, I kind of like the quick turnaround, but then at the same time having this long stretch, one kind of opening our season and the other one ending it, is kind of cool as well.
You guys have had so much time and you guys have grown so much. How exciting is it to get a chance to go up against your rival after you've had, you know, some time together, and to see how much you guys have grown and compare yourself to then and now against this team?
Yeah, I mean, I would say our program, especially, is a completely different team than the first time we faced Oregon. So I'm really excited for that, because we are such a different team, and we added Talia since last time, but overall I would just say everyone has grown as not only an individual but as a team as well, and just the growth and the strides we have taken since the first time. It will be kind of a cool comparison because we were so fresh and new the first time we played them, and then now we've obviously had the entire Pac-12 season. We're kind of finally getting into a little bit of a rhythm. We've been able to have some consecutive games, which has been really nice.
You mentioned Talia. Just how much has she helped you out? I know you had a lot on your shoulders, and she kind of came in and took a little bit of that off. How nice was that? And how much has she helped you just maybe kind of excel even more, these last few games?
Yeah, it's awesome. Talia's a great player. I keep saying like her basketball IQ is what has given her the opportunity to succeed so well at this level. Just her knowledge of the game, and then obviously her skill set. And I think that comes with her confidence as well. She has the confidence to handle the ball against anyone. She's not scared to face anyone. That's what's nice about having these fresh minds, just fresh bodies in general of the Pac-12 is they're not afraid to face anyone. They don't really know the history of these teams or the history between the teams. So it's just like a game for them, which is awesome. But no, Talia's been a huge help, just having another person or someone else that can handle the ball confidently, get the team in the offense, and just she has a swagger about her that just brings out confidence and kind of a swagger in everyone else. So no, she's been a great addition to this team.
How has Ellie gotten more aggressive and assertive as a player on the floor over the last couple of weeks? Because it seems like she's been involved, in every consequential play you guys have had, last 2-3 games.
No, yeah, Ellie Mack has been huge for us. She stepped up big. I think everyone finally saw the Ellie that we've been seeing this entire year, but just to see her perform the way she did this last weekend was awesome. I'm just excited for her. She's been a key role this whole season. I think there has been a little bit of doubt in her mind, and so for her to finally kind of get rid of that and know she belongs on this team and in this conference has been awesome. But no, she's stepped up big. She's played huge roles, even just the little things. Her defense this last weekend was awesome. I'm just proud of her and the steps and the strides she's taken on the defensive end especially, and then I think that's led to confidence on the offensive end.
Aleah, you guys play on Sunday, and then it's right into one-and-done Pac-12 tournament play. Have Talia and Sasha kind of asked you any questions or advice for when it comes into that situation of that high-stakes play?
Yeah, no, not really. I think we're kind of all just focused on this Oregon game, and then after that, I think then we'll kind of get into more the Pac-12 tournament and stuff.
I'd imagine you guys are probably pretty used to the idea of playing without fans and stands now, but this rivalry, so much of what makes it what it is packed out Gill, packed out Matthew Knight Arena. I mean, is it going to feel strange that there's not going to be 10,000 hostile Duck fans the way that it's been over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think it will definitely be a little weird, but like you said, it does help that we haven't had fans really at all this season. But no, that, like you said, that makes the rivalry is the fans there and either cheering you on or cheering against you. It will be odd. I remember the first time we played them and it was like, geez, it's like silent. Like we can actually hear Scott talking to us, where in the past years in Gil, you can't hear anything. You're like trying to read lips, you're doing hand motions. But no, it will be a little different, but we've kind of gotten used to it by now.
Do you think that makes it easier for your newcomers to the program, like Talia and Sasha and Ellie, that I'd imagine is, maybe not for Ellie, but as a freshman, you come into Matthew Knight for the first time and there's 10,000 people there. It's like, oh my God, it's a little bit of a difference than what we usually see. I mean, does this maybe make it a little bit easier to go in there if you're a first time player?
Yeah, I think that could be the case. Just kind of make it a little easier. You don't have everyone screaming at you when you're at the free throw line or whatever. But yeah, I think that could be something that they could use to their advantage, that they haven't, or they don't have those fans, or fans of Oregon fans there. And so, yeah.
Haley, I know the first game, Oregon kind of jumped on you guys early on and built up a big lead. You guys weren't able to really get into it. That's like the only time I think this year where you guys have fallen behind, early on in the game and weren't able to get back. Have you looked back at maybe some of the things they did? I know you guys are a different team, but have you looked at some of that, and how important is it for you guys to be even or take a early lead on them just to keep you guys going early?
Yeah, that's something that we've kind of focused on since that game and a few other games. We've kind of talked about stretches on the defensive end where we can only allow the other team to score twice in a row would be ideal. And then that's a priority to just stop on the third time down. So I think that's been a focus of ours. Obviously, just defense overall has been a big focus of ours. But like you said, it is important and it's a priority to come out kind of ready so we aren't getting jumped on like we did the first time.
Coming off a big road trip win and going into this last game, having so much time to prepare, what's the overall mood, I guess, been of the whole team getting into this final stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's just ready. Just being able to actually have consecutive games is been really nice because that's something we haven't really had in the past or throughout this whole season. So I think everyone just mentally, physically ready to go, excited, hungry, with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder because we do know the importance of this game and how this game does matter for the rest of our season. And it is an important game. So I think everyone just kind of is really ready and just excited to get back out there.
If you do decide to come back next year, when do we start seeing the Aleah Goodman, Greta Kampschroeder 60-foot two-man game begin?
I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about next year.